And we're recording. Oh, I gotta go this way.
Wait. This will go really well.
It's gonna go amazing. Okay, so hold on. If I go this way? No, I wanna go this way, right? There, okay.
Oh, nice.
Perfect, so I'm not completely out. Okay, so hey, you two. We are about to start our podcast, our first one. This is our launch.
It's on.
For Can They Say That?
Oh, they can.
And they will. They being us.
Us being
Yes.
Polly.
Oh, I'm Polly. Yes, this is
Polly. I'm Gina.
Gina. And I'm Polly Hamp.
Oh, I'm Gina Berkmeyer.
Yeah, so we're going to do all those kind of intros on the podcast that we're about to start,
Yes.
but we're videoing and we're pretty excited. She's not excited. I feel like I need to point this way because our camera's opposite, but you're here and that would mean nothing.
She insisted on the video.
I did, because you guys want to see video, right? Everybody
convinced
nod.
that you do.
Yes. So it's fun because you'll get to see us interact, which you can't see in our voices. You
True.
can kind of hear it.
Yes.
But yeah, we have lots of facial expressions that don't show up in the podcast. And so, yeah, which is probably good. But anyway, okay, so we're going to get started. We're really excited. Welcome. Oh, what is the date today? Today is May 21st. 2018. We are in the gorgeous
Lake of the Ozarks.
Lake of the Ozarks, yes. The lake's out there.
Like.
Not out there, this way. Yeah. And it's beautiful. We're going to go jet skiing later, get a little bit of a sunburn.
It's our reward.
Yeah. And yes, for all you people who are really good about taking care of their skin, we'll take care of our skin too. So you don't need to talk about it with us. And yeah, so here we go. I'm gonna hit play. Hey, you guys, we have the coolest intro. So cool. And I think I know how to do this. Wait, I want to do this here. Oh gosh, I forgot how to do it. Okay, here we go. Okay, here we go. Just kidding. We're gonna start that over.
Now.
No, I gotta delete this. So,
Never mind
yeah.
now.
That's gonna go bye-bye. Okay, bye-bye. Okay, so here we go. I'm gonna put this here because that needs to go here. That's my line. We're gonna be edge vocal and we're gonna hit record. Okay.
Can they say that?
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 They can, and they will.
Hey guys, welcome to Can They Say That?
Oh, they can.
And they will. I am Polly Hamp.
I am Gina Berkmeyer.
And we are so excited. This is our launch podcast / vlog.
Yes.
Vlogcast?
Yeah, well, vlogcast. New word. I don't know.
Yeah.
Might be.
So,
Might be. I'm excited.
me too. And we're we've been planning this for a while. We
Yes.
already did a launch
Practicing.
thing, and we decided that we're gonna redo, and so we're really excited about getting this out and getting this started and having a blast just talking with you guys about some topics that some of us talk about, some of us don't, but really kind of opening it up for you guys to also talk and ask questions.
Yes.
And yeah,
And interact post-podcast and pre-podcast for the next one.
yes,
Yeah.
so we've got some really tough topics we're going to talk about that we think are very important to our hearts, but also we're going to have some fun topics too, because we're squirrel chasers, and
Big time.
And we need to have fun in this short life that we get to live.
Yeah.
So
And, we thought for a while, long and hard, about a name. And the reason we came up with Can They Say That is because I think the truth is that we're going to say a lot of things that even we're afraid to talk about in certain circles. Right. But I think there's things that we don't say out loud. And it's not necessarily because we're afraid it's going to hurt somebody's feelings or because it's wholly inappropriate to say it, but because we fear judgment or ridicule or, as the old show goes, is that still around? Being voted off the island. But the truth is that there are just some topics that do need to be discussed. I think there's questions that need to be asked. We think that there are things that need to be said, things that need to be called out,
Yeah.
brought into light,
Yes.
shared, all that stuff.
Yeah. And so we are so excited you're joining us. And we have a few ways that you'll be able to connect with us on our website that will be up soon. Hopefully on iTunes and all that. Facebook, YouTube, you can watch us do this on video, maybe. Yes. And
She keeps saying yes.
I know. I am.
I'm reserving my
I will.
yes.
It's on video. I mean,
All
it's
right.
on recorded.
All right.
Recorded? Yes. Okay. So let's talk a little bit about why we're doing this. Gina reached out to me. Gosh, when did we decide? Was it last August?
August.
In 2017, and said, "Hey, I have this idea." I'm like, "What?" And, and she has great ideas. And so we met back in 2015. No,
We met in 13.
13, yes, 2013, and just connected. We'll share a little bit about our stories and where we've both come from. But when she got this idea, you want to explain?
Yeah. So it really was because there were so many things that it was in a particularly heavy time for me when there was a lot going on professionally in the lives of my clients, personally in the lives of my friends and my family, for myself as well. And there just seemed to be this disconnect, particularly within the church, about talking about some of the harder things. And I just really felt like if there was going to be any hope of growth and healing and true connection for people, then we needed a place to explore the things that we were fearful to say out loud. And I know that that's Polly's heart too, so the hope was that we could get together and do this, create a shame-free environment and a judgment-free space, and really create a tribe to explore these things with, because as our intro says, it can be a jungle out there. So if we're going to journey through it, we might as well learn to tame a few beasts along the way and make some connections as well.
Yeah, I agree. And when Gina asked me, it's just such an honor because Gina, as you guys will find out as she shares a bit of her story, is just freaking amazing. Like how she just loves and works with her clients and just every person that she comes in contact with. She has an incredible story. And when you invited me, it was like, oh, really? Me? So thank you.
So for all those things she just said about me, ditto plus 10, because that's why I invited you. So.
Oh, ditto plus 11.
This is only a 30-minute show.
Oh, okay, we better go. Okay, so we're going to take some time and talk a little bit about who we are, and we could say our qualifications, but I don't know.
They're sort of important.
Yeah, they are.
They're part of who we are.
Yeah. So, Gina, why don't you go first? I wish we had a drum roll.
I know. We're going to look into that.
Yeah,
we
will.
really need some cool
Yeah,
sound effects, minus the cool ones that we can make ourselves.
It's true.
So for me, my story is one of generational dysfunction, addictive behaviors, fatherlessness, painstaking attempts to put together my own story and what generations before me had contributed to my story. I'd worked through my own sexual abuse. I've experienced developmental trauma in my own story. Attachment issues that I didn't know what those even were until I came into some knowledge of my own story later in life and understanding some of those things that do form us as we're younger. Worked through my own issues of shame because of all of that, because of what had happened to me, and then also shame because of choices that I had made that ultimately hurt other people and generations beyond me. So a lot of, being the wounded wounder, I guess, would be a way to say that, and working through that. Sadly, part of that journey was also brought into the church. And I will not say all of the church because I've had some amazing experiences within the body of Christ. However, particularly in the beginning for me at a certain church, it was a different type of shame that I traded out. The shame that I had felt from my own story, what had happened to me, what had been perpetrated against me, the things that I had perpetrated against myself and others. And then traded that for the shame of, well, why can't you just get it together? Why can't you just be healed in the name of Jesus and move along? And it wasn't until I was able to come alongside some professionals who really understood the faith of it all and the science of it all that I was able to begin to find my own true journey to healing. And I know that that was God ordained, and I know that He's the reason that happened. And then I guess moving forward with that, I'm a writer, I'm a teacher, I'm a speaker. I'm a licensed counselor, certified in EMDR, trained in DBT, and I work with people from a neurorehabilitative perspective, which is just a real fancy way of saying I help clients try to rewire their brains using a combination of faith and neuroscience, along with addressing the total person mentally, emotionally, physically, and spiritually. Formerly, I worked as, I did pastoral care and pastoral counseling. I've worked with trauma, addiction, personality disorders, women coming out of prison, women coming out of the sex industry, domestic violence survivors, and a whole host of individuals working through a variety of challenges in their lives. I'm also a wife to my wonderful husband, Tom, without whose encouragement and support, I seriously could not do the majority of what I do. I'm a mother of 5. That is a blended 5, but I do claim them all as my own, and don't challenge me on that because I'm telling you, they're all mine. Mm-hmm. And 3 grands, all boys. And then, of course, mom to a precious fur baby named Maximus, who pretty much rules the world. I guess that's me in a nutshell.
Yeah. Awesome.
Yeah.
It's a good nutshell.
Thanks.
Yeah.
How about you, Polly?
Yeah, okay. A little bit about me. So I come from a very broken past, was sexually abused starting at a very young age, and the memories that I had were suppressed until I was 18 and graduating from high school. So from that, I had all the expressions of what sexual abuse does to boys and girls. And so instead of becoming very introverted, I became extremely extroverted, was very promiscuous, sneaking out, have rape, abortion, drug addiction, alcohol, very young age doing all of that, and just whatever I could get my hands on. High levels of depression, just really just fighting through school. It's a miracle that I actually graduated from high school. So one of the things, the expression from all of that was I started stripping in a club right about a semester into college, thinking that I could control men. And that was a lie from the pit of hell. Mm-hmm. So from all of that, just a very destructive past. I danced for about 2 years, then tried to take my life and was put in a transitional home for a bit, and never danced again, but still lived a lifestyle. And I claimed to be atheist at the time because I would say, if there's a God, how could a God so great let such horrible things happen to a little girl? So from that, just really seeking to be seen, known, loved, I became a mother and a wife in a very short period of time after that, and just really compartmentalized my life. It's some of the stuff we'll talk about in later episodes and things like that, but just how I would put my life and parts of it in boxes just to survive. But through that, you can only keep your stuff in a box for so long.
That's right.
And through getting to see miracles, through having people who loved me even though they knew my story, I started seeing a really loving God. And he started calling to me, wooing me. He wasn't afraid of my anger. He wasn't afraid of my depression. He wasn't afraid of my addictions. He wasn't afraid of me at all. And it changed my life. So in 99, I came to know the Lord, but it wasn't one of those radical, let's go save the world now. It's like, okay, I know Jesus, check. And but it wasn't until started going to a church that had great Bible studies. I was like just taking it all in. I got to see women, real women, love well, even though they had their faults. You know, they still had, you know, there was still gossip. There were still all the things that, you know, that a lot of us do, but they still loved well. And I got to really learn the Word of God. And in that time was just kind of a marinating season. And then, isn't it funny how God like takes your story and calls you to use your story?
Oh, yes.
And so he did that very thing. And he's like, Polly, I want you to reach back out to the women in the sex industry. And I was like, hell no, you're crazy.
Right.
You are crazy.
Right.
And by the way, God is crazy in a good way.
Yes.
Actually, crazy should be normal. And
Right.
being not normal is, never mind. Anyway, I can't. But so my passion is reaching out to the hidden, reaching out to the broken, reaching out to people that are dying to be seen, but are afraid that somebody might actually see them. And so having this opportunity to sit face to face with people or teach or do podcasts or speak or anything like that and just get to love the one. And in that, God takes care of everybody's story. I love your shirt about, your life is your story. And what does it say? Write well, edit often.
Yes.
I would actually scratch out the edit often. So
I think the edit often is perhaps a metaphor to continue to grow and assess.
that in life, yes, but not in real writing like a book.
No,
Okay,
geez.
okay.
Heaven forbid.
So what I do is in the things that I have done, I had a ministry that reached out to women, of course, in the sex industry, but also now I'm an NLP certified practitioner. I'm a Think Differently coach. My husband and I own a counseling center in Grapevine, Texas, and he is a marriage family, an MFMT. Is that right? Marriage family. Anyway, he's a counselor.
MLFT.
Thank you. And I'm an NLP practitioner, so I get to sit with people and watch God do miracles and get to be a part of helping interrupt thought patterns and helping interrupt people's just destructive behaviors and getting to see incredible things doing that. I'm an author of a book called Cherish Shattered Innocence. I'm holding it up for YouTube. It's kind of blurry. Cherish Shattered Innocence, Restored Hope. And you can find it on Amazon, and it's on Audible now. I actually read it. And you can also get it on Kindle. So those are the things I do. I'm also a wife to Bob Hamp, my amazing husband. We have a blended family of 6. I have a set of twins that are now 22, and one just graduated from college and started her job today. And I have 4 kids that I claim as my own. I have 2 in-laws and 4 grandbabies, actually 3, but 1 is on the way in June, a little girl. So we're super excited. I have 2 fur puppies, corgis, one named Moose, we call her Moo Moo, and one named Dottie, and we call her Dot. So yeah, that's a little bit about me. Did I miss anything? I don't think I did.
I want to say something about when you said, isn't it just like God to call us sort of into what we came out of, but in a different way. Like now it's for redemption and for his glory. And I think that is so true. We have so many things in common in our pasts in terms of what we've endured and then also what we've gone through. Very similarly, I, like you, went for the bold and out loud,
Yes.
right? And sort of like middle finger the world kind of thing, right?
Yes.
And I said it. And I did it. I lived that for a really long time.
Yes.
And as God worked in me and brought me through things, the cool thing that he has shown me time and time again in embracing women who have gone through and are going through what we've gone through, addiction, abuse, promiscuity, abortion, all of those things, is that you can't separate your history from your destiny.
That's good.
You cannot separate them. And God, I think every time we open the door to say yes, when we say yes, when he says, go there, do that thing, and our first response is, no, but then we do, I think there's a selfish piece of it that I get to see in the room so often with clients too, which is, oh, look there, that was a bigger chunk of redemption in my story. Yeah. He just took that thing that I thought had zero value And because of what he's brought me to and brought me through, now it has all this value, and it brings that redemption so much bigger and brighter into the present.
So good. Yeah. It's the beauty for ashes. It is that he takes the broken, he takes the shatters, and he takes it and restores it, and then we get to walk in it. And one of the things I would love to spend some time talking about sometime is, when are you ready? When do we share our stories? And I think it's a progression, but I think there's also a marinating season that's so important to go through. Had I jumped into ministry immediately after, coming to know the Lord, I think I might have done more damage than good.
Well, that was the beginning of the journey. That wasn't like the destination.
Right.
I mean, coming to know him is what perpetuated the next stepping stone and the next stepping stone and the next stepping stone. Right? I mean, that's how it was for me.
Well, I think though, you have those who've grown up in church and, I did not grow up in church. You didn't. Did you grow up in church?
Well, it was so how shall we say this? So Roman Catholic upbringing, right? So it's don't bother God with the big prayers or with the little prayers, right? He's watching you. And it wasn't, he's watching you. It's okay. He's watching you. It's he's watching you,
so
right?
don't miss him.
Not too terrifying. And just all of these incredibly high standards that there was no way I could live up to. So why even try?
Yeah. And so I think what happens is what I've seen is those who've grown up in churches, and especially the ones that have the expression of going, hey, you are called to share your testimony. And I think we get confused with the, I'm supposed to share my testimony in the middle of my pain, which there are places for that, yet it's how do you do that and do it well without damaging yourself and others in the midst.
Well, I think part of it is there's the sharing because you need people to walk the journey with you and you need the healing. And then there's the sharing because I've had people walk with me and I've had the healing.
Yeah.
Right? So it's the two different kinds of sharing. And understanding which one you're presently living in. And often that's, I don't think, something to be made in the context, that decision to be made in the context of a bubble either, you know?
Yeah.
Like really get people to help you that understand.
Yes.
I think that's important.
Yes. Okay, so let's talk a little bit about the structure of this podcast and our goals because we're not just going to sit here and talk in front of you guys. I mean, we are.
Well,
but there's more.
Hence podcast.
We're very much, one of my huge passions is always the then what.
Oh, yes.
We're not just evangelists. We're not just going, hey, got you, check. Very much, now what? Because
you say it, I'll say it.
Because this is growth for you. Are we going to say the same thing?
Knowledge? Are we going to say
knowledge? Yeah, you say it because that was yours.
Because knowledge is only power when combined with action.
Yes. Say it again.
Because knowledge is only power when combined with action.
Yes. And we have got to take action, you guys. And
yes, please.
Knowledge is great. It's a wonderful thing. We don't want to push it down, but we've got to take action. And it's fun. We get to do this thing. And so we are going to invite you into our sandbox. We're going to invite you to play and get dirty. I always say to my girls, if you didn't get dirty, you didn't have fun. And we are going to have a blast just playing. And also hopefully healing along the way for even us. I mean, we still, I was talking about one of the podcasts for the next topic, and I'm like, I don't know if I'm ready to do that one because I'm feeling a little raw here. So let's put that one a little off. And so it's those places where we're going to be very vulnerable with you guys, where we are right now, where we've been, but also asking you to be vulnerable with us as well.
And asking you to create some action, whether you're a believer or not a believer.
Yes.
Whether you're inside the church, outside the church, or you're not even sure what you think about the church, or what you think about God. That doesn't preclude you from having a place in this world that can be beneficial to those around you. For those of you who are in the church, one of the things that we've talked about is we want to talk about what are those things that the church has used to build walls so high and so wide that we have become inaccessible and irrelevant to a hurting world. And how do we break them down and become what we're actually intended to be, which is what Jesus was, which was a safe place for the hurting, for the marginalized, for the lost, and inclusive, drawing circles rather than lines, as a wonderful pastor in Texas says all the time.
Yes.
Drawing circles rather than lines. Thank you, Toby,
Yes,
for that
thank you,
one.
Toby. You rock.
And helping people figure out what does that even look like
Exactly.
in their own sphere of influence.
Yes.
Whether it's inside the church or outside the church.
And then also doing it with kindness.
Yes.
We have a lot of words to say. We have a lot of thoughts, and we have a lot of things that like raise our blood pressure up in the world that's going on around us.
True statement.
But there's ways to do this that we can be kind to each other. And so we're going to invite you to our Facebook group. It's Can They Say That? You'll see our cute little logo of our, what are they called?
Hashtag Nick Sturgis.
Thank you, Nick. Our avatars.
Yes.
I have no wrinkles in my avatar.
I don't either.
I love my avatar. So thank you, Nick. And,
Yes.
but we're going to invite you to our Facebook. And so after each podcast, we're going to post questions and actions. And
Yes.
so we're going to invite you to have conversation and yeah, we're going to invite you to have conversation. We're going to ask questions and be kind to each other, but just really start living out loud, just in ways that, you know, like, again, this is a jungle and it's a hard world, but
And help other people live out loud.
exactly,
Right?
yes,
In a way that's really healthy and healthful. Yeah.
yeah. So some of the topics we're going to talk about is same-sex relationships in church. What does that look like? Just in the world of how do we love well with people that we might disagree with, and I'm not saying I did anyway, but just how do we love well with different topics that how the world's throwing things at us.
We're going to talk about abuse in the church.
Yes.
Sexual abuse particularly. But also, I think domestic violence, I think those are two things that can possibly be put together. We're still sort of playing with that, but we'll see. And not just to be another place where people are talking about, because a lot of people are talking about
Yes.
that. This is going to be more, this is going to be more like, how do we address it? What do we do? How do we protect? How do we help heal?
Yeah.
What does that look like? And how we're all sort of called to shine a light on that stuff rather
Yes.
than, oh, that's somebody else's story or, let's sweep that under the rug or whatever. Let's see.
Some of the racial issues that are going on in the world. What else?
I have a guest in mind for that one, by the way.
Oh, good.
Pretty
Good. I was very challenged with the whole Me Too and Black Lives Matter. And I was, I hear the whole Me Too and I hear church too. And if you don't know what those are, go look up the hashtag on either Twitter or Facebook, or just even put it in Google. I'm sure it'll pull up all kinds of information if you don't know what we're talking about. But I've been a little frustrated with the whole Black Lives Matter thing because I'm like, I don't understand it. And then I had this revelation with this whole Me Too thing. I'm like, this voice, we want to be heard. And then how they're so like the same thing, and it ends up, like the Women's March and all of this kind of stuff. It ends up, I think, almost doing damage to a cause. Yet it's this pendulum swing from silence to the scream, and how do we bring it to the middle so we can all relate and understand each other?
And I think just like anyone, if you're not heard, your voice is going to get louder because you demand to be heard. And that's understandable. These are topics that people should be heard on. I think if it's one of those things, I don't want to go too far into this with our time here, but I think that it is important to figure out how do we do that in a way that helps everyone listen rather than creates a greater, stronger chasm between and divide between more of that us and the mentality. Because y'all, it is really difficult to hate when you lean in and get up close and personal with someone.
Yes.
It's really difficult to hate them. And so even learning what is it like to do that in the midst of some of these difficult topics with people who might not agree with you.
Yes. And we don't have to agree with everybody,
That's right. That's right.
So, okay, we're going to wrap this up. We're really excited that you've joined us. And again, go to our Facebook page, follow us on Twitter. Can they say that? Follow us on Instagram. We'll be posting memes and questions and actions on all of those sites. Please share our podcast. Let's see here. What else?
I don't know. That's a lot. But between now and then, until you hear the next one, some things that would be great for you to consider are, what are those topics for you that are things where you feel like, I'm sort of afraid to say this out loud and I don't know. And you can message us privately.
Yes.
Or you can just put it right out there on our Facebook page. We will be monitoring that because kindness is a prerequisite for commenting on our page.
Yes.
Again, that whole concept of trying to draw the circles and not draw the lines. And find somebody who you don't really understand or perhaps even necessarily agree with that might be on the peripheral of your life this week, and do something that provides and promotes connection between you and them, and see if you don't feel a little bit differently about that person at the end of it.
I love that. That's good. Okay.
Is that it?
So I think that's it.
Okay.
Thank you guys so much for joining us, and we will see y'all in the next podcast.
Yes.
Bye.
Take care. Bye.